Well, that's not good, is it?
Nope.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Expert Bike Giveaway Series. Today we are unlocking and uncorking the ultimate power of the R1 as if it needed to. We're doing a plug-and-play little ECU piggyback system. Look, this is all we need to do. Just this right here. We just plug and play it. Oh, no.
Yeah, it looks like we're going after every single injector on this motorcycle, so that'll be fun.
Stick around. It's going to be an interesting one today. So, the reason we have this R1, in case you've been living under a rock, is this is our giveaway motorcycle for our Expert Bike Giveaway Series. If you click the link down below, you can check out how to win this motorcycle. You can also pick up some merch. Every dollar you spend gets you an entry to win this motorcycle. We've also got 5 other bikes we're giving away as part of our Beginner Bike Giveaway Series. You can bundle them together, get access to everything, our Discord server, all the bikes, everything else, and it's a good time. So click the link down below and check that out. Spike, this looks like a big one today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one right there.
So I'm thinking we're gonna have to take this gas tank off, the seat, the tail, find where the ECU is, plumb up every single connector to the injector, do the dummy plugs as well. Thankfully, this is not my first rodeo with the piggyback system, but this is my first one doing it for a 4-cylinder bike. So.
Yeah, no, this one's gonna be brutal. I've done plenty of Power Commanders, plenty of Dynojet stuff, but this is a big one.
Yeah, and big shout out to Motivation USA, which hooked us up with this little rapid bike for our bike as well. So hit the link down below and check them out too. Without further ado, let's get into this. Alrighty guys, so the reason we're doing this today is because we've modified the exhaust system on this motorcycle. When you modify the exhaust system on a bike, you are changing the air to fuel ratio on the bike because now you have more pressure coming out the back, you've changed a lot of stuff going on, and now because the bike, although most modern motorcycles can adjust a little bit for differences in air to fuel ratios, we want to go the extra step and make sure that we've got a good piggyback system on there that's going to adjust the map for us and make sure that everything is within spec. Because you don't want to run a motorcycle too lean, you don't want to run it too rich, whereas that means that you have too little fuel or too much fuel. Both can cause problems in either direction. But in my opinion, if you do want to run too lean or too rich, I'd prefer to be on the rich side. Lean can cause a lot of different funky problems. So the first thing we're doing today is removing the gas tanks, kind of lifting it up a little bit to give us access to those injectors, which we're going to be plugging into from our piggyback system. So let's do it. So guys, we just removed the gas tank from the motorcycle, makes it a little bit easier to access all this stuff here, and it was a pretty painless process, wasn't it, Spike?
Yeah, the biggest problem was actually disconnecting the main gas line. There's this little locking thing. You got to put pressure on it and then push in 2 different places. But once it moves out, all you got to do is just slide it off the little knob there and it just comes right out.
Yep, and then we also had the 2 lines over here. We had a overflow line and a vacuum line for the tank. Typically that happens, this is pretty common in most motorcycle gas tanks, where if you overflow the tank a little bit, it seeps out from the top and flows out to this line. It actually flows right down here to the bottom. So if you want to look on your motorcycle, you'll probably see 2 small little rubber lines going out to the bottom here. And I learned about that when I did the Hentai Hornet, remember?
Yep.
Yeah, did the Hentai Hornet, and I was like, where are these 2 rubber lines supposed to go? And then I was like, oh, it's just overflow. So lessons learned, experience gained. So let's keep going.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate ya, complicate ya. I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate ya, complicate ya.
So we are now looking to get the throttle position sensor and the crank position sensor hooked up to the new Rapidbike module. The reason you're doing that is because the new system needs to understand where the crank is and how much throttle you're giving on the bike to adjust the air to fuel ratio. Because if you look on a big map for air to fuel ratios, those values can change over how much throttle you're giving at what given RPM, and we need access to the crank position and the throttle position sensor to understand both those values and to make sure that the piggyback ECU can actually adjust accordingly. So that's what we're doing right now. this right here, guys, is the ECU to the R1. It's actually the brains of the operation, makes sure that everything works, and this machine pumps out all 200 ponies that it supposedly does. People get really upset when we say that on the internet because they think it doesn't make 200 horsepower, but screw them, I think it does. And I'm pretty sure it will after we do this, so it's gonna be pretty awesome.
All right, so after a little bit of a battle, we finally have the Rapidbike hooked up to the motorcycle. Now, they did say in the directions that there may be a polarity switch here in the power line. So the only way we're gonna be able to find out is to turn everything on and see if this works. If it doesn't, that means that we just need to include a different piece of wire in line and it'll solve the problem. So we're just gonna...
Which we have right here.
Yeah, which we have right there. So we're gonna hide the Rapidbike underneath where the servo motor used to be, and I guess we're just gonna start putting it back together.
Alrighty guys, we've just plumbed up our Rapidbike module here. We've got it all stitched up correctly. Looks like all the values are popping up correctly on the computer. And I think we should see what it does now. So we're gonna start it up. Let's do this. Well, that's not good, is it?
Nope.
It'll start now. Alrighty guys, so as you saw in the last clip, the bike didn't run. We kind of scratched our heads for a good 15 minutes trying to figure out what was wrong. We scoured and searched throughout all the connectors and all that, and it turns out that what is it again, the voltage?
So basically the way this unit receives power is tied to the rear brake light. Now they say that the Rapidbike itself has a reversed polarity on one side of the harness, which is weird.
But it's quite vague, right? Because over here it mentions
some bikes.
on some bike, the polarity of this connector is reversed. In this case, installed a little wiring adapter. So we ran a multimeter. We're trying to figure out if this was the case. We ended up just running without it because we figured it'd be fine, but
apparently it wasn't.
I
honestly, I swear to God, I thought it was going to be fine because the tail light turned on. I just assumed that if there was a bad polarity problem, the taillight wouldn't turn on.
Sound reasoning, honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
but I've never encountered this on any of the tunes that I've done on any of my bikes. So.
No, it's usually just either plumbed right to the battery or something else to get power.
Yeah, but mercifully now.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Fuel pump goes, going, and then bike runs. Now what we need to do is make sure it runs correctly and the map is good and all that other jazz. So that's what we will be doing now. We'll plug out the computer and make sure that everything's being read correctly and all that.
Yep.
Let's do it. Didn't see you there. Why don't you watch this video right over here while you're at it, because this one's over actually. There's nothing left to see, but if you click this one right here, you could keep watching your sweet Papa Yam on video, here on the internet, on YouTube. Click the video. Do it.